What's up? It's your boy Carcino here, and let's get into it. Now, let's speak on why we're here. It was quite disturbing for the majority of the family who probably didn't know anything to hear Irv Gotti go on radio and say what he said about DMX. So first of all, I want to say this. Thank you guys for supporting the page. The Patreon is going to be explosive this month in May. We're kicking May off with a bang, as we're going to tell you about. That video is going to finish me. They definitely coming after me after I post the video I'm going to post on the Patreon this month. They really coming after me from places I never even imagined. But we're going to talk about the true birth of Christianity. So, yeah, that's going down. And then you're going to learn about the truth behind the real Hugh Hefner. You're going to learn a lot of different stuff this month on the Patreon. It's things that you didn't know before. We're going to have the sex talk. Yeah. So we're going to talk sex over there. So, yeah, it's going to get real. And that's all coming in May. There's a lot of other stuff coming that you guys don't know nothing about. But be ready. And now we get ready for this. Irv Gotti decided to go on a radio station and said that DMX died from a crack overdose, which was laced with fentanyl, and he had too much fentanyl in his system, and that's what did the trick. Now, 50 Cent and Swiss Beats both responded to it. Saying, like, 50 Cent was like, why would he even say that? Meaning that the family have not come forth and said how he died and what he died from. Why would Irv Gotti come forward with that type of information when he was that close to X? At one time. To do that, you got to go back to the beginning. When Irv Gotti had the connections over there, and he the one that was really pushing to get DMX signed with Def Jam. So in the earlier days, Irv Gotti was very influential. Man, he was the man at the time. Very influential in getting him that deal. Can't take that away from Irv. Irv saw it right away. He believed. And he was pushing to get DMX signed to a major deal. Now, with that being said, you get into a situation where Irv, sometimes when things are going well, he gets way above and beyond. His ego gets bigger than his body. So he gets very disrespectful. Got in the interview, got all excited, started talking real reckless and crazy about Mike Geronimo. Because Mike Geronimo didn't choose to sign Irv as his manager. So, Irv at this time felt like, I got the power. I don't need him. Feeling himself, ego. So, Ja Rule and DMX, in case you don't, you know about all that already. All you got to do is follow my Truth Behind series. Ja Rule and DMX get into a war of words. It gets to the point where DMX don't like Ja for no reason. Like, for Irv Gotti, like, he's godfather to DMX children. It's like, dude, you guys were that close. Well, your children were close. And you're godfather to their children. So if that's the case, why is this happening in this format? It shouldn't be. Now, with all that was being said and what was going on, the damage was done. X didn't want nothing to do with Irv. Irv basically chose his side, tried to bring goons around X and everything, trying to intimidate him as he basically made his stand with Ja. And X was like, look, it's either him or me. He chose Ja. They went down that road. Irv would have rather not had it like that. But that's the way he wanted it. And that's the way it ended up. Now, I remember Ja was like, man, I don't know what's going on with X. We used to be cool. Don't understand it. But for Irv Gotti, his ego once again disturbed. He wanted to come back to X to do some work. X wasn't having it. So when Ja Rule met with X and Jay, Irv was like, oh, we back in. Nah, you not back in. You and X ain't cool. You know what I'm saying? And once X passed, he wants to still show his bitterness. And this is that BS that Irv pulled. Irv always been good at pulling the wolves over people's eyes to making people believe he's something that he's not. This is his slimy ways. So now, once people get to see it, because everybody was feeling sorry for Irv, and oh, Irv, he's almost out the game, and Jay felt sorry for him and went in and vouched for him to get that TV show. Then he started getting his feet back in the game again because nobody was working with him. So now he's getting back in the game. He starting to feel himself again. This always happens once he screws up and steps out of line. So now, because Irv was stupid enough to do it in Chicago, where X got a lot of love, dudes here want to really whoop his ass. I mean, for real. Now, of course, Irv realized he had to apologize for what he said on GCI. Irv gonna be like, first of all, let me say again how much I love my Negro X. The fact that this is coming into question is the only reason I feel to address this BS. I love X and I love him unconditionally, and that won't change till I die. Dog love. I'm like, what? He's like, now the interview I did for WGCI is the interview where I said what about DMX. Now everything I said had already been reported in the media. If you look back at Baller Alert and Shade Room and other media outlets, everything I said has already been out there. I didn't break anything I said, but you know what? I understand no one wanted to hear it from me. And for that, I'm truly sorry. To ever make people think I don't love X. Anyone that knows me, my whole career on the line, I'll say anybody knows me or knows X cannot ever front like me and X didn't share a special bond. I put my whole career on the line for X and did things for X that is unquestionable. Our relationship grew and grew to the point where I felt I understood X and the love he wanted. That's why I say dog love. Unconditional love is what I gave X. It didn't matter to me what he was doing. I loved him. And always would try to do the best for him. I spoke to his wife, who I love also, and I apologized as soon as I seen it went left. I explained to her I was only saying things that I heard reported already. To which she said, they don't know if it's real yet. They're waiting for the doctors to come back and tell them. Then which I apologized even more for repeating what had been reported. I apologized to my brothers, Y, D, and Y. They know exactly where my heart is with X and where my heart is with them. We have done things together that will never change. How I feel about them, they are my brothers. Again, I apologize for talking out of turn. In my defense, I honestly thought I wasn't saying anything that everyone didn't hear already. If anyone thinks that the love I have for X is nothing, it is genuine and unconditional love. Just look at our history. Just look at it. And there is no way you can think that. I love you, X, until I die and see you again. Rest in peace, DMX. Dog love. Rough Riders. Family. Now, all through that BS that he just wrote, let me tell you why Irv did that. Irv got contacted by the Rough Riders and DMY and everybody else after his thing went left. And he realized he better make a public apology and straighten that out. Now, if you Irv Gotti, you are a record executive. You don't go around quoting the Shade Room and Baller Alert. When you start quoting them, when that's like Nas and Jay and them talking about some, well, you know, it was on the Shade Room. Really? The Shade Room? The Shade Room took one of my videos and for word made an article based off my video using all my dialogue. in the video, trying to say they had a source. I'm laughing. I'm like, this is all me. This is all my words. And they talk about they got a source. So I know about the shade room. So when he did this interview with Kendra down at 107, in Chicago, WGCI and everything, they probably called Kendra and said, Kendra, we ain't happy. We ain't happy with this. This X got a lot of people here. You know what I'm saying? Like, he hung out here a lot. More than any other New York artist in the world. Like, he always gives shouts out to Kato and all his people out there. That's what X did. You know, he hung out around them dudes. So X was up here. X had a chick up here. Chick I used to like mess around with, but it is what it is. She had a picture with X. When they was on like vacation. Like, he flew her out on vacation. They was on jet skis. I've seen the pictures. She don't know where her picture went. Like, I'm like, how would you lose that? That's invaluable. But anyhow, Irv Gotti did that because him and X ain't been speaking to each other in years. Years. He didn't go over and see the kids in years. Years. Irv wasn't around. And they godfather the children's. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't been around at all. So let that sink in. Well, that's the thing. Why did he feel a need to say that? This is what Swiss was talking about. And now, by saying something like that, he embarrassed the people that vouched for him. The Jay-Z's. Yep, you embarrassed Jay. You embarrassed all these people that vouched for you. Now you out here looking like the idiot again, putting your foot in your mouth. That's what I'm saying. Disasters always follow Irv because Irv blocks his blessings with his ego. Only when he's down and out. One thing Irv is good at, he's a great producer. He was a very good producer. Can't take that away from Irv Gotti. He knows how to produce a record. Everything else, I wouldn't want to deal with him in no other aspect except for producing a record. And we seem to make these mistakes that we think because somebody is good at one thing, they're good at many things. It's like, oh, this dude produced this song with him. Of course he could do this here. Of course he could be your manager. Of course he could. Of course he could do all these other things. No, they can't. It's only certain people that can bridge out and do multiple different things and be successful at it. Some people are just good in their zone, in their element. So, on that note, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna keep holding you guys hostage here. So, anyway, I'm out. Love, peace, and hair grease. Don't forget to like the video. And my Cash App is Carceno, Karceno, if you want to support the page. Deuces.